Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Peteman Reviews. Today we have the Triple Changer Specials. These are the Decepticon Triple Changers, of course, and we have the original G1 versions, or at least as near enough as one's worth having, and also some third-party releases. The third-party releases come respectively from Unique Toys, DX9 and Toy World, and these give updated, slightly more accurate triple change versions than the original toys. Okay, so moving on to Gewalt or Blitzwing's tank mode. Now, this is produced by DX9, so Digital X9, and they give quite an interesting package. It's kind of it's very much putting Blitzwing as the commander. It's very actually reminiscent of Command & Conquer in that respect, with the tanks and the aircraft on there, and then on the top it's got various slogans and different tank modes. What's interesting is obviously this is a third-party Transformer. As such, they're not allowed to call it Transformer, nor are they allowed to call it Blitzwing. Yet, on the package it even says Blitzwing's quote from the movie, "Come on down, Auto Brat." And on the side are stills with Blitzwing's appearances in the G1 cartoon. On this side as well you have from the movie as well, and faced off against the Galvatron from the the third series. Bit close to copyright infringement there, I feel, but you know, they actually look quite nice on the box, but it's kind of going a little bit too far. Okay, tank itself is absolutely huge tank. It's got a rotating turret, which is excellent, and which moves up and down too. In fact, while the tank is huge, it is actually pretty much to scale. So if we take our G1 Cup, you can, I know this guy doesn't have the ability to move, unfortunately. The legs don't bend enough and the arms don't. Nevertheless, you can kind of recreate the scene from the movie as well, and this toy is both large enough and to scale to be able to do that. An unexpected bonus is certainly. Otherwise, the detailing on the truck, it's not too bad. It is a little bit plain and lacking. The treads are good. They don't move, but they are quite good details, and it's got wheels underneath that move. So it's decent. It's not massively detailed. It's more the size for it, but it's fairly decent mode for it. When transforming Blitzwing to plane mode is where the fun begins. Blitzwing, much like Astrotrain before him, is one of those that you might need tweezers at various points depending on how you wish to transform him, so just bear that in mind. So we start off by flipping up these parts, which are the wings, and down. Simple enough to begin with, definitely, but that's step one. Step two, you need to just gently prise off from here the treads, because the treads will split in two, as is common with most treaded Transformers, third party or otherwise. They do split like that, and they actually fold over on themselves, so you've got the peg and then the corresponding hull. So what you have here is almost like a jet engine intake. It kind of is quite a clever way of trying to disguise the treads almost, because there isn't really anywhere to put them other than to have them hanging down from the wings of the plane. So by almost pretending that they're jet engine intakes, it kind of gets rid of them in a way. Okay, so the turret actually prizes apart like that, and the inner turret gun comes out. Take that away and put it somewhere else. Don't need it. This then slots back together to produce a much more compact cockpit. The whole side here then flips out, and this will flip completely around. Now these are the tweezer bits. You don't need them going in, but you will need them coming out, because they go in like here and fully in like that. And as you see, that's absolutely perfect. Look at that there. There is no easy way of getting them out now. This is where you need the tweezer to push in and try and pull out. Luckily we don't have to do that until he goes back into tank mode, but it's absolute pain. Trust me on this. Okay, so rear of the tank, this all slides out. This slides out like that. These are all the wings here, and what you're effectively doing is you're making a new base part, so this will slot into the gap you created here. and you start to see how it looks together. You've got the rear, which has the jet engines here at the back, and this slot here, just this part needs to come out. Move it out of the way so this slots in flat. Sometimes it needs a little bit of encouragement, but it will slot in eventually. And then you've got wheels under here. I'm not going to take the wheels out at the moment, but you do have the wheels for the landing gear. Okay, so we're pretty much there at the back. I'm not going to worry too much about these mirrors here. So getting the actual this bit to sit flat can be a little bit tricky sometimes. Well, it doesn't ever sit fully flat, but it can be a bit tricky. Front of the plane. Now this is where things are not so much tricky. Tricky is not really the word, it's just there's a lot of fiddly bits to do. See, these are the nose goes here, you need to get them out the front, don't hit the camera. So we start off by flipping this up like that. This then all goes around, and you just need to, you can leave Blitzwing's head there. No, yeah, I think you can leave the head there. I have to think about that for a second. Now this will come out and it flips with that, so that you end up here, by flipping that around, you now have that there. This will rotate. Should I rotate before? Yeah, so that you have the front nose going here. This flips back down so you can't see the face. I haven't quite flipped that all the way around. There we go. Because this, you can see that that needs to slot in there, and it's been a bit of a pain about doing so. There we go. More about that later. Okay, this comes out, that comes out, and then that just slots up like that to produce the nose of the jet. This is still being a bit of a pain, but don't worry, we'll worry about that later. Oh, actually, let's worry about it now. Because the head does actually fully pop out like that, and then you can move it out of the way. The reason I'm just doing that is because I want to get this here. So that's fully straight on there, and then that fully clips into place there, which it now has. Okay, so we can now push the head back in how we found it before. So just push it in. It's a little bit stubborn in there. Okay, so now you've got all these side parts here. You've got to try and get this so that it's now underneath. This is quite doable. It's just a little bit complicated because there's a fair bit of work to do there. Just had a sudden thought. Dangerous, I know. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everything was still correct at this side, and it is. Right. We'd already done it. Okay, so a little bit fiddly, these parts. It's once you know what you want to do, that helps life, but it's still a little bit fiddly because there's a lot of moving things around, moving things back. You've got to move them around again. You've got to move them back, and so on and so forth. So what we start off by doing is taking these and popping them just out like that. Remember, these are going to end up so they're facing this way. We're all said and done like that. Indeed, we might as well do that now with this side. The other thing we need to do here is just to flip these round. It's a little bit stiff. So you've got the purple display. We'll do the same on this side. Again, it's a little bit stiff, but surprisingly relatively easy to do. So you've got the purple display. So we now need to make sure that these pieces go into here. So start it off in this way mode. Make sure that this kind of beige colour with the little holes in is facing backwards. We now flatten it like so. So you've got this grey bit here on top. Flip the grey bit up, flip the grey bit up. We now just rotate it like so, so that you've got that looking like that in that position, and same deal here, so you've got that like that in that position. The arms then rotate halfway So you've got this grey bit here is now acting as a kind of covers over both. You then do the same here as well. Excuse the cat, she's desperate to go out the window, even though it's wide open. Okay, so now we've done that. This will then fold in under here. You might find it helpful just to move it up like that to make sure the fold works. And then it's quite tight, but it does go in. So same here. And it now slots into place. Not done yet because we need to close this, so there's a little flap here which you just need to pull up, and then this will close down, so you've got a nice smooth seam there. Same here, that flap goes up and down, and finally these will just slot in. You can actually see there is a little your classic peg, there's a little hole in here, so they do have somewhere to hold. This just also props up the nose there. Okay, so and you've got landing gear as well that comes out here. So we'll take out the landing gear on both parts. While we're here, we'll just make sure that this is connected into that, and same on the other side. Okay, now we just have the rear tails of the plane to do. So what we want to be doing here is making sure that that's on like that. A bit of rotating needed. Sometimes it's easier to rotate than others because it kind of gets a bit stuck with the middle plane, with this lower wing, and that wing's like that. And there we go. Blitzwing in jet mode. It's huge. If you thought the tank was huge, the jet is even larger. So much so, we can take the original G1 Blitzwing and he will very happily sit on the middle part of this plane. It's humongous, and actually it's a very good replica of the original Blitzwing. Surprisingly, the original Blitzwing has more accessories than the re-release, in that the original Blitzwing has got these missiles here which fire. It's a bit top heavy, look, missiles that fire. This guy does not. I just realised on the jet something we haven't done. Now that we've put these like that, they just go fully back that way and just smooth that off. Same on that side, gives you a nice smooth surface there. Otherwise, it's huge. Say, just look at the detail on it. Very, very smooth surface, it has to be said. So there's not massive details, it's more paneling on that. I do like the fact that he's got ailerons on there which do rotate upwards and downwards, which I've yet to see on another plane. Maybe it's on the Masterpiece ones, I don't know, but I personally haven't seen it before. Rear plane looks good with the jets on there, and the tracks, obviously on this side they're obviously tracks, but looking at it from the front, they do quite cleverly look like either fuel tanks or fuel jet intakes. It kind of works, doesn't it? So it is a huge jet, and just to give you some idea of scale, if we take Masterpiece Optimus Prime here, just stand the jet next to him, you can't even see the top of the jet. We have to do that to get some idea of the size. It really is a huge plane that he transforms into, which is a good thing. I assume we'll have a look in the footage later, but on my camera he looks blue. He is purple. It looks very blue on the camera. Hopefully in the film you're watching it doesn't look blue, but on my camera it does. He's actually completely purple, except for a little bit of beige here and some silver here, and obviously some beige and some red striping, but it's predominantly purple. Okay, so jet mode, is it better than the tank mode? I think it is. I think it's a very big jet, obviously very plasticky. It is, after all, made of plastic, but it works well. It gives a real presence. The same can be said of the tank. The tank is a real presence as well, but I really like his jet. It is a little bit different in feel to this one, because this one feels very boxy, particularly all around here, whereas this one, the boxiness ends there, so it is a bit of a different feel. The landing gear is a bit trigger happy coming out and both going in, so it is a slightly different feel to it than the original Blitzwing, but it looks a little bit more like a jet as well, and is quite reminiscent of the Seekers, just a larger version of them. Okay, so we've seen the jet, there's one more transformation left. Okay, so to transform Blitzwing or Gewalt into robot mode, it's not too bad a conversion to do. We're going to start off down here as well with the feet. Actually, fortunately, they're not too far off from doing that. So move these out of the way here, just flip this bit up here. You see you've now got a nice little gap here for, if we just pry that apart for that just to rotate and split in there. That can then go back down. You can kind of see how the legs are going to be already starting to form up. These feet will then just do that. So that's popped out, and then I will pop it back in. Same again here. Fits like that. What it will do. There we go. Now this front goes like this to evoke the somewhat more classic Blitzwing look. The back parts will just stay as they are. We just do that as well. These, interestingly, also move up to become the rear parts of the feet. So you can move it up and then you split it into two like that to create a more stable base. So same here again, it splits into, goes completely round. That creates a pretty stable base for Blitzwing. Now, where are we to now? So what we will need to do is we need to deal with all of these parts here, and they will move around. We're not there yet. Put this like that. Unhook. Just pop these bits out. Like so. That side, same again on that side. And while we're here, we'll just pop this up too. We now need to unpop these bits that we just put in to make into the play mode. That like that, goes like that, and then they will go back like this. And then this will rotate round, but obviously we can't do it yet because we've got the arms here. So we'll now pop out the arms, back to how they were. We don't need to pop them fully out, but we do need to pop them fully out, and we'll just do that now. And these bits here will also come out. Blitzwing's head kind of gets in the way, and these bits themselves kind of get in the way as well later on. So just pop these out now, rotate this part too. Now the whole part of him now does pull down a bit. So you can see you've got little sections there and disconnecting. So just going to pop these out here like this. Just don't need to, but it makes life a bit easier to just disconnect this part because the whole lot of that's going back there. So it's going to be a big piece of work. Now we can just pull, make sure that the guy is fully full down. So see we've got those little gaps there. Oh, it's already pretty full down. That made life a lot easier, didn't it? Okay, so now that that's all out of the way here, we're just going to unput the legs from there and make sure that these tank parts are firmly in. There we go. It's quite a solid click. Don't be afraid of it. It's just, it may sound like it's going to snap in two. It's not. That's what it's meant to go. Okay, these bits are always fun, but there we go. Right, so we've now got the feet. When it does this, it's a pain. You just have to swivel it around because they both want to be, what have I done? A bit too far. They both kind of want to occupy the same space. So we've got most of Blitzwing there actually, as you can see. We have to pan up because the guy is huge. He really is. What you want to be doing with the arms is popping it round so that this bit here is perfectly flat. It will go flat, Sometimes you have to press it down, and then that goes in there, and that goes on the top there. So do the same on this side now. So start off by pushing this round like that. So that's there. Make sure this is up, and then you need to push this in and down until it's perfectly flat, like so, and then this will pop close. So you can pop that in like that. Now we're just going to pull this out here, and that slots in there like that to make a continuation of the chest rather than just have to go straight to plain. Okay, so we now need to obviously give him hands. So these fold down. You rotate it round and down. The actual hands are located in here. So this pops down. Take careful note of how the hands come out, because you have to somehow get them in back to this position. It's not easy. You kind of have to pull him out by his thumb to get enough leverage to then pull this out. See how he's grasping something? You have to put it in that way. It will pop off occasionally. Don't worry, it's a normal ball joint. And then once you've done that, you then push this in, and now the two slides here go back over there, and you end up with the hand and the thumb. It's not a configuration I've seen before. I've never owned another DX9 toy, so I don't know if this is common for them or not. But you really do have to pay note of how he comes in. Okay, so that goes out. Remember, you just have to gently pull that enough so you can then get a purchase on it. Remember, he's grasping something. Hand then comes up and rotates. That goes in, and then this all slips back on there. So rather than giving the thumbs up, let's face it, Blitzwing to Warrior, he doesn't do thumbs up. Not too far off now. So this slots in here. You've got a hole there and a little part there. Peg that goes in like that. Still not yet done. Goes in. Goes in. The actual tank tracks now disconnect from the wing here, and they just slot in there. I say disconnect from them. They don't. You reconnect them afterwards, but it's just a bit easier to move them in. It goes back. Well, they do disconnect. And that goes like that. So you have him like that, and then I think the idea is these then go down like that. The little ailerons. Okay, and we have Blitzwing. Huge, absolutely mammoth sized Transformer. Now he has numerous weapons that he can hold. He's got the classic gun, he's got the classic sword. He also can even hold this cannon as well, so it will pop out. If you pop it out too much, you move the camera, and then this will pop up here, and you have a section that goes down here, meaning that he can hold it as a gun himself. However, we're not going to do that because, as you can see, there's a hole here for the cannon to sit in its rightful spot at the rear, and it will pop in there, so that he has the cannon sticking out as all good Blitzwings do. Just looking at that, I think it's not quite right, is it? This should actually be out here over the arms. There we go. That's right now. That's how it should be. So it's slightly wider, and then that just looks better as well, doesn't it? So put the gun in there, and you can put the thumb around it, and you can close the fingers and give him the sword. Making sure the thumb's that side. Give him his sword. Classic Blitzwing. He looks incredible in this mode. He really does. You know, the expression on the face is just classic Blitzwing. The sword is brilliant. The whole thing, it's got a real presence to it. You know, he is big and chunky, and he really looks big and chunky as well. He really is a great looking robot. He exudes power and presence, let's face it. And when we compare him against Convoy, Optimus Prime, Masterpiece mode, he towers over him. and that's how it should be. Blitzwing he is a tank. I know he's literally a tank, and both in the way he operates, he's a tank. He's there to outmuscle and outpower someone, and he feels like it in this form as well. He doesn't feel like he's there to be artistic. He feels like he's there to just brute force. If you play Transformers Devastation, Blitzwing is a pretty tough opponent and much bigger than you as Prime, and that's followed through in the toy here. So let's compare Blitzwing with some of his contemporaries. So Prime to one side for a moment, and we'll bring in Octane here. Astrotrain's guns, I will give him his guns back. They might fall out, but pop in his guns. So Astrotrain. And then the last of our triple changes, Little Springer. We'll just take Prime out of the way because we've already compared with Prime, so we'll just move him out of the way. There we are. You know, Springer doesn't stand a chance, does he? He's kind of on a par with Octane, but he's nothing compared to Blitzwing. Blitzwing dominates this group, as he should. That is Blitzwing.